Órale, Cholo Trucker, los tres chingones boxing. Shouts to all the chingones y chingonas, man. No time to waste. Let's get to it. Let's bring in el gran chingón, el mero one, Mr. David Contreras.
Hey, what's going on, Cholo? Ready to talk, man. Our favorite subject, boxing.
And there's a lot to talk about, man.
Oh,
And to do that, we gotta bring in the boxing scientist because he saw it all and he's gonna break it down for us. So let's bring him in here from Mikey TV, one Mr. Mike Zavala.
Gentlemen, what's up, man? What it
what's up,
is?
Mikey?
Listos. Vámonos.
Mikey, I gotta tell you, big dog, you got some of the best. You got the best haircut, man, I've seen.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Nice and
Natural.
smooth, nice and smooth, man. Gula JC, Gula to everybody, man. All right, so we kind of got a little bit of a slow boxing weekend coming up, but we got a lot to cover that happened over the weekend, man, with everything that was going on. Um, I guess we'll start with um Mario Barrios and Abel Ramos. Um, I was right. Mario Barrios didn't lose. You know, technically, I'm right. He didn't lose. He didn't lose. He didn't lose. So it would look. It was a good fight. It was back and forth. I thought he was gonna win. He didn't lose though. But man, he really struggled. Abel Ramos is a dog, man. He went in there. He gave him a good fight. It was a back and forth. It was a fun fight to watch, man. It really was. I was watching with my sons. It was fun, man. David, what did you see, carnal?
You know what? Exactly what I said was going to happen. I think we all said it. You know what? Abel Ramos, he's a dog. And you know what? He went in to win. He had that winning mentality. Um, I saw it different than the judges. I had actually Abel Ramos winning by 1 round, or I could have been okay with a draw. Pero sabes qué? I'm okay with him winning. You know what I mean? It was a close fight. Um, he's man. You know what? This guy, the Ramos brothers, they're the real deal. Actually, he's a steal. He's a youngster steal, the one that fights at 154. Um, I think Barrios is the weakest champion at 147, but it was a good fight. Overall, it was an excellent fight. It was exactly. And you're right, JC. You called it also. Actually, you called it better than we did. You were absolutely right.
Hey, Mikey, David just said he's the weakest champion. I had Brian Norman Jr. and Montesteniones and Boots Ennis. What did you see in this fight? And do you agree with David that he's the weakest champ?
I mean, the boot tennis, he's not what we thought, what I thought. He has a lot of holes in his game. Brian Norman Jr., he looks good, but he still needs to show us more. Um, Stay honest. Once upon a time, he was gonna fight Virgil Ortiz, who was gonna give us a show. But his luck, he got injured, and then Virgil, I still haven't seen it. Barrios, man, he's an underdog, a guy that we all. Speaking for myself, I didn't really believe in him, and he's been showing us good thing. Oh, Ed, I'm gonna keep saying it. You brought him up, and Barrios, man, he's. If you could say something about the 147, he's the most improved fighter at 147 from the champions because he's been knocked out, he's been stopped, he fought this guy, that guy, and he's coming up. Now you brought something up, Ed, and it's kind of true. Maybe marriage life is getting to him, dude, because you have to be a killer in this sport. You have to be heartless. You have to train. The, you got, of course, there's anomalies. Canelo and but Floyd Mayweather was never married. Maybe a little bit. Like you have to be a dog. Even the Diaz brothers and UFC talk about it. They don't like to bring their wives or their girlfriends to the fights. Well, I'm going to war. Maybe he needs to maybe uh, separate the wife. Big G, Dave, you talk about Big G that you respect him, his experience. He doesn't let women come into the gym. He's that hardcore. So I think he should separate it a little bit because I think it's affecting him. He needs to be a little bit more active. He only fights twice a year. And respect to Ramos. That guy, he's an opportunist. He got the opportunity and he shined, man. Yeah.
Um, All right. David, you do you think all the other champions beat him? Do you give him any shot against any of the other champs that won't?
I think I want to see him fight Stanius. I want to see him fight him because we haven't seen him fight in a long time, and we've seen. Hey, what's going on, Jesse? We've seen Barrios fight. I mean, when he fought Ugas, and he just fought this one. He just fought a couple of months ago. So we've seen a lot of them. I want to see him against the Stanonius. You know what I mean? I know I'm probably killing the name, but that's who I want to see him. I don't think he would last against Boots, even though Boots, Mikey said that you just stated that he showed some weakness, not weakness, but he showed some holes in his game. I still think that Boots will teach him a lesson, and I still believe that Norman would also hurt him, but that's who I'd like to see him fight because I haven't seen him fight what in 2-3 years. Stanonius, I mean, he was supposed
Yeah,
to fight uh,
Virgil.
Virgil
Virgil.
for a year. Literally was training for a year and he never came up. When was the last time we saw him fight? Please
Yep,
remind me. I mean, when was the
I
last time we
remember.
saw Stanonius fight?
I
Yeah,
think he did. I think he did have a fight after that fight fell through. I don't remember who it was against, and we weren't really that impressed. I can't remember when it was, but if there's somebody at 147 that I would give Barrios a chance against, it'd be him. I like
Yeah,
Barrios just because he's a dog, just because he's
yeah,
he's a
yeah,
warrior. But do I
yeah.
think he's got skills and everything like that? No, I think Boots puts it to him. I think Brian Norman Jr. puts it to him. I want to go ahead and welcome right here my boy
Yeah.
Conrad, Mile High Hustle. He's got a fight coming up Thanksgiving night. He will be stepping into the ring and doing the damn thing. So I'll be putting reminders out there on Chicano Tube. So you guys go check it out.
Is he the dude that's fighting that boxer guy,
Yes,
the NF
yes,
guy? He's the one.
yes,
Oh, really? Okay.
yes,
Hey,
yeah.
best of
That's
luck,
him.
brother. Suerte.
That
Best of
that's
luck.
him. He's
Yeah.
been training hard. He's been taking ice cold plunges. He's been training. He's from Denver.
Okay.
Saludos to that camarada right there,
Suerte.
man. Um, yeah. Look. 147 is pretty weak right now. With the exception of Boots Ennis, I give Barrios a chance against the Montesteniones, and I give him a chance against Brian Norman Jr. Even though I think
Uh,
Brian Norman Jr. will probably beat him.
yeah.
I think he will beat him, but I wouldn't be that surprised if he does beat Brian Norman. Brian Norman, again, we everybody knows him because of one fight like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like this dude is some, he's got some resume where we're all like, damn, this guy has been all the undefeated dudes, man. Like, no, we know him because of one fight, and he looked good. He looked
Yeah.
great in that one fight. So, I mean, I wouldn't. I think Barrios, because 147 is weak, I think he can do some damage there.
Well, he
Depending on
definitely
what Buchanan is
can. He definitely can because he's a Mexican. A Mexican can. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, what's up, Anthony?
Hey, Mikey, what do you want to see from Barrios next, man? Should we see a rematch?
Yeah, this was a great fight. We got to see
Yeah.
the rematch.
Yeah.
Great fight, man. And yeah, like you said, Ed, uh, I think it'll be some good matches because those guys still need to prove themselves. Boots and has got the skills and all that, but we've seen when a guy that moves, Barrios is a mover. He can move. But this guy, Boots has a 90% knockout ratio, so he could hurt him and all that. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him match up with one of those guys, but for sure, let's get a rematch because what a fight, man! What a
Yeah.
fight!
David, if it was up to you, is that what you want? You want a rematch, or you want him just to move on?
You know what? I didn't know that rematch was an option. Rematch, bro. I thought it was fighting one of the champions, but if it's fighting one of the champions or rematch. I want to see that. I want to see that again. Play it over.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
that good of a fight.
yeah, comrade. Karen went in there and
Yes, he
gave
did.
Boots all everything he could handle. Hey guys, let's move on to another fight. We'll see what happens with Barrios. whatever happens, he's fun to watch. I'll put it like that. He's fun to watch. Whether he's got skills or not, I like watching his fights. He's fun to watch, man. I think he'll be one of those guys. Maybe not on the level of Josecito Lopez, but he's somewhere there because he's fun. He's fun to watch fight, man. Um,
You know what? I think he is at that level, Josecito Lopez. Don't you think?
okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what? I think
yeah.
he's at that level. Yeah.
He,
I
he,
never thought
he,
about it that way, but you know what? I think he is.
yeah, he'll never be the best, but he'll always be fun to watch.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know. So,
Mhm.
hey man,
Funky,
G
funky.
Funky Boxing right there. Shouts to that camarada right there, man. Hey, gentlemen, let's move on to another fight. I thought it was gonna be good. I was a little bit bored from it. I heard other people saying that it was a really good fight, and I was just kind of like, I'm trying to like it, but for one reason or another, I'm not liking it. And that is Ramirez and Barbosa. I was kind of like, it's okay, I guess. But some people were saying like, hey, it was a back and forth fight, man. It was good. They were saying that, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't really tell anybody why. I felt actually a little bit bored. Mikey, am I wrong on this? Was there something more to it? And what was your thoughts of the outcome and the fight itself?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, they Ed, I skipped that fight. It was kind of dead to me. It was kind of boring.
Okay. David, what you make of Ramirez and Barbosa?
Disappointing.
Mm.
I mean, if I were going to say, describe it in one word, dude, disappointing. I was expecting Ramirez. He hasn't fought in a while. I mean, to come out like a caged lion. You know what? It's time for Ramirez to hang it up. Really, it's time for Ramirez because Barbosa is the most boringest fighter I've ever seen. I was sitting here literally falling asleep. You know what,
Mm.
Ramirez, he needs to hang it up, man. No, with all due
Yeah,
respect, you know what he needs to do? He needs to run for Congress or for Senate for the state of California for that El Valle, Fresno Valley, and then fight for the farm workers. That's what he needs to do. Avenal, that whole area. He needs to do that. He needs to hang them up, dude. It was the most boringest fight. But yet, let me ask you guys a question: when have you seen Barbosa in an exciting fight? You know what I mean? When have you seen him? I mean, disappointing. And the right guy won because once again we all fell asleep. We all fell asleep. I was expecting this fight. I was expecting Ramirez to go in there and maybe not knock him out, but hurt him and just beat him. It was a boring fight. He held him all day with a jab, fought on the outside, and Ramirez doesn't have the same energy that he used to have. I mean, he has the same trainers, everything is there, but he needs to retire. He's not going to be a world champion again. And you know what? I don't think he'll ever get this paycheck ever again. I like Ramirez. Run for Congress or
Yeah,
mayor. Mayor.
yeah, I like him too. And by the way, if he does run there in the Fresno and the Central Valley, he'll win.
Oh
They
yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
They love him over there. He definitely is
Yeah.
a fighter and a man of the people. They love him right there. Um, David, I'm with you that Barbosa is a boring fighter. Would you have been happy had they awarded the fight at the end to Ramirez, or would you have
No,
said like,
no,
no,
not
that's
at all. But dude,
okay?
Barbosa acted like you're absolutely right, JC. He acted like if he won the Super Bowl. He falls to the ground and he's crying. Really, dude? Really, ese? From El Monte Flores or El Barrio Monte, crying. I mean, orale, you know what I mean? I mean, it was against Ramirez, Hey, give me a chance. I'll fight anybody. We've heard that before. You're boring, dude. And so I mean, no, if it would have, though Ramirez didn't win that fight. No, they gave it to Barbosa. But once again, I mean, I had to literally put my fingers over my eyes. It was a very boring fight. It wasn't what I expected. Not at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, all I could do is pretty much echo what you just said. I guess the only thing I would add is this is the biggest win for Barbosa, so
Yes,
maybe
it is.
that's why he was so like, yeah,
Crying,
heck
crying,
yeah,
crying.
yeah, and
You know?
and, and to him, he's gonna make it seem like he beat the Jose Ramirez that was in there against, Josh Taylor, the Jose Ramirez that once had the eye of the tiger. And
Yeah.
version of a Ramirez does not have that eye of the tiger anymore.
No.
So he's just, he was just kind of a shell of himself. And yeah, man, he's a boring fighter. It struck me wrong when I saw him in person. He's over there trying to with his with his homies and everything, trying to bully dudes and all that stuff. And then you get in the ring, and then it's like it's a street dud, man. So I don't know. Mikey, what's next for Barbosa? What does this win do for him? I mean, it's a boring fight, but it's against a somewhat notable name. It's got to do something for his
Yeah,
career. Where does he go from here?
yeah. I mean, Ramirez is a name. There was he was trying to get Deloya was trying to he just signed him, right? Deloya just signed him.
Yeah.
He was trying to it's a name, former champion. Yeah, almost went undisputed, I believe, or he was undisputed. I forgot. Former champion, and he was good once upon a time, but he's just a name. And then Barbosa, he's marketing himself. He's a bad boy, tattoos, and he talks trash, and so he's gathering our attention. But the skills,
Yeah.
he's not my favorite fighter. I don't want to knock him, but he's kind of like Dave said, it's a little boring. He's kind of boring, man. So he's a name. He beat Ramirez, so now they might feed him to someone bigger at 140.
Hey, I agree with JC. I agree with JC's comment. Put it up real quick.
Right there.
Yeah.
you
Uh,
I don't think there's any big fight for Barbosa. I think he's trying to he wants to look the part, he wants to be the part, he wants to become a star, but it's not working. So I don't think there's any big fight out there for him. Maybe somebody like shoot, man, Subriel Matias.
yeah.
May-
Matias would be a good
Maybe
fight.
maybe somebody like shoot, what homeboy's name from New Orleans. What's his ¿cómo se llama? Um
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it'd be a
yeah,
good
yeah.
fight if he fought El Feo, the one that El Feo, the
Yeah,
old man. That'd be
man,
The
yes,
old man,
yes.
the old man.
the old man.
Ishmael Barrosos.
Barroso,
Ishmael
Barbosa. You
Barroso.
know? Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would love to see that fight because Ishmael, hey man, that guy deserves a shot. He
yeah,
really
he
does.
does.
He got
Yeah.
robbed. He definitely got robbed, man.
G
Barbosa
Funky's right
couldn't
on
sell
that on Saturday night.
Barbosa couldn't,
No, he
he
can't, man.
couldn't, he couldn't sell anything. Oh man, the other guy, Regis Progress,
Progress. Okay.
Regis Progress. You know, fights fights like that, yes, maybe so, but those guys are gonna take him out of there. Those guys are gonna take him out of there. I don't know. Maybe fight somebody like a George Kambosos or something. I
Or
don't know, but
Oh,
El Feo. El Feo
you
would
don't.
be a good fight.
I would love to see that.
Me
What
I
too.
would
about
love to
Tio?
see that.
What about Tio, Ed and Dave? Because Tio is working with. I just saw another video. He's working with Canelo team, and you need some fights under you to
That
get
would that
accumulated.
Mikey, that would be a boring fight because Barbosa is not going to fight him. Barbosa's going to run all night, keep him, and it's going to be a boring fight. You know what I mean? If he fights
Yeah,
Theo, I mean Theo, unless he's learning how to cut off the ring
yeah, exactly.
with Reynoso, then it would.
That's
But if not, it's going to be a boring fight all night long.
yeah.
And
So
and
Canelo,
go ahead.
yeah,
and by the way, man, my observation when I was there earlier this year and I saw them there face to face, look, Holmes, I honestly, um, Teofimo looked scared of Barbosa.
really.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, out there in the lobby and around the casino, and hopefully my boy Mark from Putazos y Pendejadas, hopefully he jumps in here. And by the way, the YouTube fight that's gonna happen on Thanksgiving, I'm gonna be calling it alongside with Mark Salinas from Putazos y Pendejadas. We'll start promoting that next week. But he could tell you. Like Teofimo Lopez was kind of scared of him, man. Like he'll be there, like, "Hey, what's up, man? What's up? When we gonna do it?" And he just kind of like, Like
Hey, Ed,
he
Ed,
would
do you
keep a
think?
distance. He would get like I don't know. I saw the look on his face, David. I saw the look
Yeah,
on his face. You know, you run up to vatos in the streets, and you could tell that they don't have it. You could tell that they don't like they're scared, that they don't want to be there. And he had that look on his face. I don't know why, but he had that look on his face. Maybe it could be that Barbosa is over there with some of his homies, some of his posse. I didn't really
that's what
see
it was. That's what it was. Because
it.
that I
It
saw,
could
I
be.
saw that fight that you were at. Everywhere Barbosa went, he had a bunch of homies with him, and he had this big fat gorilon with him, big dude. So you know
Mm.
what, Theo? I mean, he's never been to the Pinta, so when he sees all these vatos all tatted up coming up to him, maybe he was, a little intimidated. You know what I mean? Pero
Ah,
Barbosa, personally, I don't see it. Maybe because he had his homies with him,
Yeah.
and maybe because
yeah,
of that. Yeah,
yeah, it could be, but he was really trying to distance himself away, and it just it didn't look good on Teofimo's part. I'm just like, you know what, the vato's scared, man, and yeah, it could be because Barbosa had a little posse with them, so
yeah.
we'll see, man. But I'm not really too interested what happens with Barbosa unless Barbosa gets in there with somebody like a Regis Prograis who's because then I know now he's gonna get knocked out. Now I know. But outside of that, I'm not really too interested in it. Gentlemen, let's go ahead and let's move on to another fight, man. El Camarón Zapata versus Terran Farmer. This was a badass fight. I was highly entertained. Camarón comes out with the victory, and I'm gonna tell everybody right now, gentlemen, I'm not 100% convinced that Camarón won that fight. I'm not saying he lost, but I'm not 100% convinced that Tevin Farmer didn't just come out with that victory, man. David, how did you see this fight?
I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. I am. I'm glad that they gave him, but I mean, to me, it could have been a draw, or it could have been Farmer winning, maybe by 1 round, maybe by 1 round. You know what? Tevin Farmer's a former world champion. I mean, everybody forgets that. Tevin Farmer is a damn good fighter, man. I mean, the guy, even though I don't know, I think he's 34 years old, he's still somebody to reckon with. Murataya had problems with him, and I'm not saying Murataya is at that same levels as Cameron. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But you know what? He gave Shakur Stevenson the right ingredients to fight Cameron. And you know what? You know what it is? Pato has cora. Yeah, that's right. It shouldn't matter who's around. You know what it is. What it is with Cameron. What Tevin did, dude. He was hugging him, hitting and hugging, and that's exactly what Shakur Stevenson's going to do because he's learning it from his mentor, Andre Ward. That's exactly what
Mm.
Andre Ward did against Kovalev. So you know
Yeah.
what, dude? When Shakur Stevenson fights him, it's going to be the exact same pattern. He's going to run, hit, and hug, and that's how you fight a boring fight against a guy like Camaron, hugging him. So hopefully Camaron knows that. Hopefully Panda, his trainer, is seeing that and is going to be able to cut off, or what Camaron started doing at the end, pushing him out of the way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
he found his kryptonite. Without a doubt. Is Camaron still one of my best fighters? Without a doubt, yes, he is.
Yeah, definitely still a very, very entertaining fighter to watch. Mikey, I stand on what I said, man. I cannot 100% just guarantee that Camarón just got this victory, man. I'm a little bit like on a teeter totter. How say you? How did you see this fight?
Yeah, I think Cameron edged it up at the end. He started. He outworked Tevin Farmer. As you can see, Tevin Farmer's face and all that. He did outwork him, but close fight. Tevin Farmer still landed some bombs on him. Uh, and Cameron, Farmer countered Cameron. That's why he dropped him. And Cameron, they say Cameron needs to work on his defense. His offense is his defense, but the thing is that when you're fighting a counter puncher, every shot you shoot, every shot you throw, there's an opening for to get countered. And like Dave said, and you guys been saying, Devin Farmer's a smart fighter, man. I don't think he should
He
retire. He's a
Uh-uh.
problem. He's getting older, but he's getting better. Cameron needs to work on his defense.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did get hugged, and he has to get a little bit stronger, pushing the opponent or working around the opponent. I think he needs a little bit need more tools in the toolbox. He does the same thing. It's the same thing, same thing, same thing. Uh, but that's the style you against Shakur Stevenson. You need to throw and throw and throw. But the thing is, one more thing. Camarón got hurt by a guy that has a 23 punch percentage. Tevin Farmer can't hit his way out of a wet paper bag. Uh, so he got hurt multiple times by a guy that doesn't hit. If Shakur Stevenson hit harder, or if he fights somebody with a little bit more power, he can get hurt because he got hurt in this fight. We've seen that in this fight.
What about the knockdown? Did that make a difference to you, David? Yeah, Camaron got dropped, man, and it wasn't a slip. It wasn't anything. He got dropped, man. You still give it to Camaron with that?
Well, that's what I said. I mean, to me, it would have been a draw, and I would have probably, if I was judging the fight. I mean, I didn't take notes on it. I would have given it to his opponent.
Farmer.
To Farmer. I would have given it to
Uh,
Farmer, but I was okay with Camaron winning. You know what I mean? I was okay. But according to some of the cards that they gave a unanimous, no, there's no way, man. There's no way at all. So I'm with you. I mean, either way, a draw or to Farmer by 1 round only, I would have. But at the end, Camaron came back. I saw Camaron coming back. But I was okay with him to give it Camaron. But there was no robbery here, not at all.
mm.
I mean,
Uh,
it could have gone either way for me. He could have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, JC. I think I do remember Luis Colazo, the bald head dude who was tatted everywhere.
I don't think
Mikey,
they're related.
no, I don't think so either. But Mikey, even with the knockdown, he dropped them. You still give it to Camaron?
I barely squeezed it out for Camarón. But like Dave said, you can't go wrong if it would have gone the other way. I think Camarón closed it at the end. He closed it. The championship rounds, he closed it, and he barely got the victory. Just because you get dropped in a fight doesn't mean you win the fight, right? We all know that. He got dropped, but it was a close fight. It was a close fight. Give it to Camarón.
You know what? G Funky's bringing up a good point. Can he learn defense, Mikey? I mean, he kind of is who he is, man. I mean, he's a high volume puncher. He just throws a lot of punches. Can you throw some good defense and good head movement around? I mean, is that just going to disrupt his whole game? And I mean, I kind of agree and I kind of don't. I think he does need to work a little bit on defense, but I don't think you could take it to so much, yeah, on another level, because you're kind of disrupting what
Yeah.
he is, and to make a whole new fighter now. I mean, how much defense can you really learn, Mikey?
Yeah, no, you probably will mess up his style, right? He's a volume puncher. But little things, you could teach him little things, little things that he needs to adjust. Like we talked about it, like when he threw that jab, it was real close in the inside, a close range jab. That's how Tevin Farmer countered him. You gotta throw that jab twice. You can't just throw a little jab when you're close range, because that's when you get countered. Stuff like that, like, hey, dude, you can't throw it like that. You gotta throw a double jab or don't throw it at all. Little things, yes, but if you want to change him into a complete different fighter, yeah, this is his style, and I like this style versus Shakur. That's the style you need versus Shakur to beat him. You need to throw chingazos after chingazos, and he might get hurt, he might get dropped, and he might get finished, but you got to keep throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. So yeah, that's a good point. G Funky, you might disrupt his whole style, but little things.
David, what's next for both of these guys, Farmer and Zepeda? If it were up to you, would you say, "Hey, let's do a rematch," or let's go our separate ways?
I'd like to see a rematch, but it's not going to happen. Camaron, like G Funky said, is probably going to fight Shakur Stevenson in February, and it's going to be a boring fight. It's going to be watching Andre Ward against Kovalev. It's going to be a boring fight. I can't compare Kovalev to Camaron. It's a very different style, but Shakur Stevenson is going to run all night, hug all night. It's going to be a boring style, and Camaron's going to look terrible in that fight. I mean, look what happened to what was his name? When Camaron, when they gave Shakur Stevenson the fight, De La Rosa. No, what was his name?
Yeah,
And
De
dude,
Los
that was
Oh,
Santos.
De Los
De Los
Santos.
Santos.
Yeah, it's going to be exactly like that. So, can you teach an old dog new tricks? I believe you can. But you know what? It's just like when being a cop. You know what? You could train all you want and change your training, but when shit hits the fan, you always revert back to your training. So you know what? When he's fighting Shakur Stevenson, and because Shakur Stevenson's not going to fight like Tevin Farmer, he's
No.
not going to fight him inside. Tevin Farmer went inside with him. Shakur's going to run and throw, hug, throw. He's going to completely disrupt him. That's why it's going to be a boring fight. And Shakur's going to win that fight because he's going to hug and run all night long. Boring fight.
Yeah, JC is saying that there was something wrong with Camaron. He probably had
Yeah.
chorro that night.
Chorro?
Um, hey, hey, Mikey. If Camaron, if Shakur is next for Camaron in February, what G Funky's asking right here, will Shakur be willing to throw his hands against the Pita, and how does that fight go down?
Yeah, he won't.
Yeah, I mean that's why I still believe in Cepeda. It's a great fight. He fought Jojo Diaz. He fought Tevin Farmer, two southpaws. They did that for a reason. And is it a 50-50 fight? What do you guys think? I have that question. I'll throw it back to you guys. And it depends, right, Ed and Dave? If Camaron does cut the ring and forces Shakur
Mhm.
has to
Yeah.
fight him off him.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, then he's gonna just run around and run around. So it just depends. I don't know if it's a 50-50 fight. It's a great fight.
Yeah.
Shakur hasn't fought in a while too, right? So that gives Cepeda a little bit of the edge because we always talk about it. If you're not fighting, it does get to you. It just depends. There's gonna be times when El Camarón is gonna force him. He's gonna force him to throw. He's gonna force him to bang. But there's going to be times when he's not going to be able to cut the ring either. It's just so it all depends. He has to bang with him because it's going to get to that sooner or later for some time in between the rounds during the
Hey,
rounds.
hey, Mikey, he never banged against De Los Santos.
Yeah, because De
He
Los Santos.
never
I know,
banged. Yeah,
because De Los Santos is not. He doesn't have the same style as El Camarón.
you're right. You're
Um,
right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Stamina,
he,
stamina. Yeah,
he's a southpaw and he's a killer, but he's like a flashy dude. This guy, Camaro just throws and throws and throws and
you're
throws.
right. Yeah.
He could get hit, but he can disrupt Shakur Stevenson. He's forced to fight. It's got to turn into an ugly fight. And if Shakur, he better work on his inside game. So it just depends. It's a 50-50 fight for me as for now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting fight because it's the biggest name on each of their resumes that they'll be fighting each other. Two completely different styles. It's just gonna be who's gonna be able to master their style and
Yep.
impose it on their opponent. Is it gonna turn into a Shakur fight or is it gonna turn into a Camaron fight? Whoever's able to impose their style more into the fight itself, I think is gonna be the one to come out with the victory. But we'll see what happens with that. As far as Tevin Farmer goes, fun fighter to watch. You know what?
Yes.
He'll probably never be. He's 34 years old, but hey man, throw him in there against some other guys. It's fun to watch. I don't want to just be focusing on
Yeah.
guys that. Oh man, you know what? It has to be a guy that's gonna make it to the top. He's a fun fighter to watch. Hey, throw him in there against a couple of other guys and let them throw it down. They'll make some money. I'm cool with that.
Hey, what about him against Tank Davis? That would be a good fight, man. Dude, that would be a good fight.
Tempo
I'm
fighter.
telling you. That would be a good I mean,
It-
compared to the guy that he was bringing up from 130 to fight to 135, dude, put him I think that would be a very good fight. I'm not saying he's going
it-
to win, but it would be a good fight.
look, I'm
He
with you,
can win.
David. I
Yeah.
think it'd be a pretty good fight. Unfortunately, they would charge $80 for that fight. So, but yes,
What
yes,
about against De Los Santos?
that's fun.
That
I
would be
like
a
that.
good fight. Yeah, that would
I
be a
I
good
I,
fight. Yeah.
I like that. De
Triple
Los
Cruz.
Santos.
Triple Cruz. Oh
Okay.
no, that's
Yeah. No, no.
if he's at 135, right? Or moves up.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But no, that's a fun fight right there. The Los
Yeah.
Santos
De
and
Los
Farmer.
Santos.
Hey, man, make it
Good
happen.
fight. Yeah.
Guys, let's go to William Smith and Gilberto Ramirez. I'm starting to become a little bit of a believer on Zurdo Ramirez. It's taken me a long time. At one point, I didn't like him at all. I thought this dude. I thought he was sorry. When he was gonna fight Bivol, I kept yelling from the top of the mountains, Bivol's gonna whoop this dude's ass. This guy's got no skills, no chance. The only thing he has better than Bivol is the fact that he's a southpaw and that he's big. That is it. Outside of that, this dude is garbage. Slowly, the wheels been turning, and I'm actually starting to become a little bit more of a believer in this guy, Mikey. What do you make of Zurdo Ramirez in his last performance, and where should he go from here?
Yeah, it's just because he's slow. Like he does everything right. I like how he fights angles. He changes levels. He turns you when he's in the ropes. He does everything that I like how he fights. He got that little bit of African American style, Mexican style, mixed with a little bit of African American style. I like Gilberto. Remember, I was talking about that. I like Ramirez, and I also like the kid from Tijuana that they're improving, Mungia, but and then he sucked this last fight. But I like when he's working with David. What's the guys right here in San Fernando Valley, right? The Chua, David Chua or something.
Yeah,
The Asian kid.
yeah.
Yeah, they're working. He's working on his fundamentals, and you know what? At cruiserweight, he's in his weight. Uh, he's faster than the big dudes at that weight so far, and I'm a believer in Zurdo Ramirez. Yeah.
Okay, all right, David. How do you make of Zurdo Ramirez? I really used to trash this dude once upon a time. I thought he sucked, man. But I'm becoming more and more of a believer, more now than ever. How do you look at
Hey,
Zurdo?
brother, ditto what both of you guys said. I thrashed him too before. I wasn't a big fan. I thought he was boring at 175, 168. But you know what? And I agree with you, Mikey. His style. I like his style. I like that he has that semi Lomachenko where he turns sideways and he comes in with the uppercut and he comes in with the right hook. Dude, I'm starting to like him. But before he fights Jay Opetaya, he's the IBF champion. I'd like to see him fight WBC champion Noel Mikalayan because he's already the champion at WBO and WBA. I'd like to see him fight him and then fight for all the belts. He'll have three of the four belts against Jay Opetaya. Don't put him in with JJ yet. Put him in with this guy. Have him come in with three belts. I'd like to see that next fight for him.
Yeah, you know what, man? His movement has gotten a lot better ever since the Bivol fight. Somebody said it on here, right there, El Pachuco. Man, that is so true. Ever since the
That's
Bivol
it.
fight, he has been improving every single fight. And
Mhm.
I'll be the one to say, like, yes, he has. And now I'm starting to become a believer and a fan of his up there in cruiserweight. And maybe that's where he needs to be. He's a pretty big dude and he can make some noise right there. I'm really more interested in his career now more than ever. More than ever am I interested in his career because I actually believe now that he does stand a chance against Jaya Pataya. I'm with you, David. I'm with you. Should it be the next fight? Probably not. He should probably unify the titles, right? And then have a big cruiserweight showdown, which we haven't had in a while. Who has paid attention to cruiserweight in, I don't know, quite a few years since what? Alexander Usyk? Nobody's really paid attention to
No.
cruiserweight. We can have a pretty big cruiserweight showdown if Jao Pataya does his thing. Zurdo Ramirez unifies that strap and have these two guys collide with one another. That could be a pretty big cruiserweight attraction, man. Because cruiserweight is, it's I don't know, it's been dead for a while. But yeah, I actually do think before this fight, the William Smith fight, before this fight, I would have easily, I would have said, Jao Patel beats him. He beats him. Yeah, Zurdo has improved, but Jao Patel beats him. Now, after this fight, I'm like, maybe I still do favor Jaya Pattaya, but now I don't know, man. Now it's probably it's closer to 50-50 now. I probably still lean like 60-40, but before I used to have it like, 80-20. But yeah, he's definitely improving, man. That's definitely one heck of an improvement that he's been going on right there. How say you, David?
Yeah, well, 100%.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Mikey, what's next for Zurdo? Should he go after Jaya Pataya?
I mean, according to Deloya, that's who he wants next. But it's just marketing. We could set it up, make the people wait a little bit, like what you said. So we could do that, or let's just go straight for the big dog. Because Opataya, man, he looks nice. He's fast. He's a southpaw. He's nice, man. And Dave, you said you could teach a dog old tricks. Yeah,
Mhm.
you could.
You
Look at
can.
Zurdo. So
Yep.
maybe we
Mm.
brought the question about El Camarón. Can we teach him new tricks? And we're like, I don't know. Hey, this guy took a loss, and look at him. He stuck by this with the same team, the Asian guys, and he's getting better and better and better. So maybe you could. Maybe we have a his we have Zurdo to use as yeah. You could teach dog old tricks.
Yeah, man, and he's probably the biggest Mexican right now doing some damage. I mean, outside of, I don't know, Andy Ruiz isn't around, so yeah, man. So I'm definitely interested on what happens with him next, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and let's get to Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, la revancha, homie. Okay, I have said it, and I'm gonna say it again. The first time those two ladies fought, in my opinion, I think that is the best women's fight of all time, ever. I don't think there's been a better women's fight since Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, the first time they fought. This time around, was it an entertaining fight? Yes. I don't think it lived up to the first one. I still thought it was a good fight, but I have a lot to complain about. A lot. And I was pissed watching this fight. I like Katie Taylor. I'm not a big women's boxing guy, but I'm a fan of Katie Taylor. And I'm telling everybody right now, she was dirty. She was dirty fighting. She used that head. Yes, I've seen her fights. And does she use her head like that? She used her head in this fight more than I've ever seen her. And I'm not going to say I'm a Katie Taylor expert, but I've been watching her for a couple of years now. And her head in this fight, and I saw it. I saw it. She would put her head up, and then she keep pushing her head like if she's some sort of goat or something. Hey man, it was a dirty movida on her part. I was pissed off, even though I was rooting for her. I was pissed, and I was mad at the referee for not intervening until it was too late. Till Amanda Serrano was already busted open. I was pissed off, man. Even though I'm a fan of Katie Taylor, but chale, I gotta call it like I see it. Dirty ass head movidas on her part, and they're saying like she's a sweet girl. Maybe she is. I don't give a damn. She's in there. She's using her head illegally. That stupid referee is letting it go until he decides I'm not gonna let it go anymore. Okay, now I'm gonna take a point away. You could have stopped this, Holmes. You could have stopped this from the jump. It didn't have to go that many rounds. Amanda did not have to get busted open. You could have intervened and said, okay, you know what? There's something up. Hey, come here. Let me talk to you. I'm going to give you a stern warning. Stop using your head. You could have stopped it. You let it go for so many rounds. I don't even remember what the round was that he took the point away, but it was already far into the fight. You could have stopped that damage and you decided not to. Man, fire this fool. I was so damn pissed because they robbed from what could have been another classic fight. And it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it, but I just couldn't get out of dog. She's over there, smashing her head into Amanda Serrano's face. Like even though with that, it was still a good fight. I don't want to diminish the fight itself. The only one more pissed off than me is Clarissa Shields because she's not in the spotlight. So, um, Mikey, did you watch this fight, Carnal? And what did you make of it?
I watched the fight. It was a good fight, man. Katie Taylor's tough, and yeah, she was leading with her head. She cut Amanda Serrano. It was a rugged fight, man. I still think Serrano won. I don't know why. I think she landed the better punches, but it was just a wild fight, man. Like a dirty. It was a barn burner. It was a scrap, man. So yeah, that sucks for Serrano, man. I thought she was gonna get the decision because it was Jake Paul's show. Like she can't lose. If it goes decision, they're gonna give it to her, and they did. And I was surprised. I'm like, oh shit. So yeah,
That you know what? That's another thing. After me complaining right now, I don't know. I don't want to say it's a robbery, but I did not see Katie Taylor win that fight. Especially with the
yeah,
point deduction, especially with
yeah.
the point deduction. How the heck do you have Katie Taylor winning that fight? Now, it was see, because now it's gonna seem like I'm saying like it was a blowout. It was not a blowout. It was not a
Close
blowout.
fight.
It was a good close fight, but I have a tough time having it that Amanda Serrano lost that fight. I gotta pull up here. I'll bring it up right now. But David, how did you see this fight, Carnal?
You know what, brother? I didn't see that, and I didn't see the Tyson fight. What
Mm,
where was the TV was buffering over and over and over again? I just said forget. I went to bed. It was already close to 12 o'clock. I go forget it. So I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
okay, so we got 33 votes on the poll of who really won this fight. 12% said it was a draw, 24% said Katie Taylor won, and 64% said Amanda Serrano won. I did not score the fight. Just watching the fight, it to me, Amanda Serrano won that fight, especially when you implement the point deduction, especially with that. I thought it was dirty. I thought it was disgusting. And the ref, I don't want to see this dude again. I don't want to see him in the ring ever again. And they're talking about possibly a rematch. You're talking about a trilogy. Mikey, I mean, it'd be cool, but it kind of takes away from the buildup because you now have Katie Taylor winning both of the fights, right? I mean, if you want to build a trilogy, it should be one and one. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
you should give it to Amanda Serrano just so you can make a trilogy. I mean, if Katie Taylor truly did win that fight, then she truly won that fight. But I thought Serrano won. Look, I thought Serrano won the fight, man. Mikey, you down with the trilogy?
I mean, Jake Paul's gonna fight again, and they might settle it to us. Why not? But for me to go out of my way, I can't wait for the circle my calendar. I can't wait for the third fight of Kaylee. Oh my god, nah. But if they put in the Jake Paul versus Joe Biden or something, yeah, why not? But yeah, it kind of killed it. Kind of killed it. 2-0 by the trilogy. Yeah,
I mean, the first time they fought, it did well at Madison Square Garden. It sold that place out, and I thought, yeah, G Funky. I remember Christy Martin's career, man. I would still say Serrano and Katie. The first time they fought, I thought it was the best women's fight of all time. So I'm a little pissed off, man, because it wasn't right. That referee was stupid. Katie Taylor, as sweet as a girl as she comes off to be, dirty ass movidas all damn night. And I thought they did Amanda Serrano really dirty on this one, man. So if they do a trilogy at the Sphere, yeah, so be it. I think the ladies could sell it out themselves. This fight is pretty damn exciting to watch. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, guys. So David, you're saying you didn't see it. So you did, David. So you did not get to see Mike Tyson's nalgas?
No, I did not. JC said right there, man. David, nomás mira las nalguillas, not even nalgas. Tyson dijo, no mames, cabrón. I'm going to bed. Not even nalgas, dude, nalguillas.
oh
Oh
my god,
man.
Tyson looks funny.
Oh, JC's hilarious, dude. He cracks me up, man.
All right. Hey, I
His
um.
body shape funny. Tyson a little chaparrito with a big back. Kind of looks Mexican, the truth. He kind of looks like no looking gordillo. But he was
Little
buff.
stubby
He's
ass
buff.
dude.
Yeah, little like he does little legs and he's buff, man. Yeah, yeah. That was funny when they showed his ass. That was comedy. That was classic
it,
right there, man.
it came out of nowhere. His own son was interviewing him. He gives a kiss to his son. He turns around and he walks away. And
Yeah.
bam, right there, two nalgas right there, just jiggling, Holmes. All right, so so okay, Netflix. Netflix is Netflix is actually getting sued right now because of it. Because I guess it was buffering so much. I don't think anything's gonna come of it. Yeah, mine was buffering as well. Um,
Yeah.
Mikey, did you watch the fight and what'd you think of it, man?
Yeah, it was fun. It was exciting. Dude, I like shit. Is Tyson gonna get killed? Oh shit, he's doing good. The old man. It was exciting. It was I was nervous. Uh, the only bad thing is it's a real. It's sanctioned as a real fight. That's the bad part. Like, come on, guys. We all know this.
Mm,
It's kind of fake. But they show. I've been watching videos how they show how Jake Paul didn't want to hurt the old man, and then I've been watching videos how Tyson didn't want to hurt Jake Paul. I'm all confused because, to tell you the truth, Jake Paul's not a real fighter, and Tyson's 60 years old. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just exciting. Like, it was fun. It was a nice show. I don't know.
I yeah. Look, there's people that are like really pissed off about it, right? I I thought Mike Tyson could have probably really hurt Jake Paul in the first round. After watching the fight, I'm like, ooh, Mike Tyson looks scary, man. I mean, his
Yeah, he
footwork and
looked good.
everything. Yeah, in the first round, he did.
Yeah.
After that, it's like every jab that Jake was landing, Mike Tyson was off balance. He just it that was it. And I thought Jake Paul could have really hurt Mike Tyson if he wanted to, especially getting into like the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth round. Yeah, I think if Jake could have really turned, even the commentators were saying like, "Hey, I'm glad he's not turning it up. I don't want to see that," and I didn't want to see that either. I'm like, okay, it looks like Jake Paul here, like in the sixth round. If Jake Paul really wanted to turn on the burners and give it to him, he could have. I'm glad he didn't. Um, I mean, it was all right. It was a show, it
Yeah.
was a show, and that was it. I don't want to see any of the old dudes get in there with Jake Paul. I don't want to see Evander Holyfield get in there with him. I don't want to see any of these dudes get in there with him. I know people hate Jake Paul and they want to see him get hurt and want to see him get knocked out and want to see him. Now you got all these other fighters calling him out. Arthur
Andre Ward.
Beterbiev,
Hey,
like,
hey, hey, Cholo, do you want to see
yeah.
him fight Chavez Jr.?
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Okay, okay. Okay. That's probably a fight that I would entertain. I think Chavez Jr. still beats him.
You think so?
Um,
I don't see
I
Chavez
think Jake
Jr.
Paul.
beating him.
okay, well, okay. See. Here's the thing. Okay, look. I, I'm not. I'm not going to defend Jake Paul on whether he's good or bad for boxing. I don't
I
think
think
he's
I,
bad.
I think he's good for boxing.
I look.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's very good for boxing.
The people that say that he's bad for
Yeah.
boxing,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said it. I said it earlier on a live. Why is he bad for boxing? He's not holding up a title. He's not holding up a division. He's not holding a division hostage. He's not even fighting fighters. So why is he bad for boxing? All these dudes, Chavez Jr. stepping in there against a retired MMA dude against Anderson Silva and losing, that's bad for boxing. That is bad for boxing. Tyson Fury going in there against Ngannou, getting dropped, fighting tooth and nail to get the victory. That's bad for boxing. I don't think Jake Paul's bad for boxing,
No,
man.
not
And
at all.
and 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 I don't hate Jake Paul, so I'm not one guy that really wants to see him go in there. Oh, you got to fight a real true fighter. He already did. He fought Tommy Fury and he lost. So the competition against a real fighter, I don't need to see it. I like seeing him fight these MMA dudes. If he's gonna fight a boxer, I don't want to see him fight a Mike Tyson or an Evander Holyfield. Maybe a Chavez Jr. Anderson Silva beat Chavez Jr. Anderson Silva in a boxing match beat Chavez Jr. I'd like to see. Look, I definitely don't want to see him against Arthur Beterbiev. The only ones that want to see that the only ones that want to see that are the ones that truly hate Jake Paul and want to see this kid get killed. That is it. But um, wasn't Oscar De La Hoya calling out Eddie Hearn? Wasn't
Yeah.
he saying, "Oh, Oscar, you're feeling froggy, homie? Why don't you get in there against Jake Paul?" I mean, he's not 60 years old, right? He could make probably go do that. Um, Chavez Jr. Yeah, I guess so. I think that'd be a. I think you could sell that. You could make that somewhat of a sales pitch. Outside of that, any Tommy Fury, any D plus boxer will beat Jake Paul. So I don't have a problem with him fighting MMA guys or retired guys. Maybe one day if he fights a Sergio Mora,
Yeah,
I'd be
that'd be a
okay
good
with
fight
that.
too. That'd be a good
Yeah,
fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd be cool with that.
Andre
Andre
Ward.
Ward. I think Ward will put it to him, dog.
Oh
I
yeah.
think, yeah. I think Ward is still too fresh. He's
Yeah.
still too
Yeah, he
close
wants a
to
payday though.
retirement.
He wants a
He
payday.
wants that payday. He wants that payday. I think even Floyd Mayweather Jr. has thrown his name in the hat now. So
Okay.
we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know. Mikey, you interested in Jake Paul's next fight, man, or does it depend who he's fighting against?
Of course, it depends, but yeah, it's dude. I was watching the fight with my sister. We're laughing and everything. He's entertaining. I go to work and my students, Mister, did you watch the Tyson fight? And they were all
Oh yeah.
excited, telling me about it. So it's just he's good. He's entertaining, and then I like it that he throws Katie Taylor and Serrano under. He throws El Azteca under the fights, and the dude that fighted Azteca, he got to shine on that card. Now we know who he is. What's his name? I forgot. Ramos. So now we
Ramos.
know who Ramos is, and so
Yeah.
you see little stuff like this. It's good, but they said that before, so I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Hey, David, you interested in his next fight, or does it depend who he fights against?
You know what? I'm not gonna probably watch him no matter who he
Hmm.
fights, but I'm gonna watch the undercard.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to watch the undercard without a doubt. I'll watch the undercard. I probably won't watch it, but do I believe he's good for boxing? I think he's great for boxing because you know what? Over here, my daughter's a teacher over here in Orlando, and she was telling me, Dad, all the kids are talking about Jake Paul's next fight. Dude, we never would have got those views. 65 million views. We never, but you know what? They got a chance to see the Barrios fight. They got a chance to see the Katie Taylor fight, Serrano. So, dude, now people are once again watching a little bit. Some of them are going to stay. So I think he's great for boxing.
Okay.
Am I
All
going to
right.
watch his next fight? No, but I'm going to watch the undercard. It's probably going to be a good undercard.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hey, El Pachuco, I get it, man. I mean,
Me too. With all
no, no,
respect,
no.
I get it.
Yeah, no, nobody has to like him, but you know what? I'm his hero, and he said it. He said it at the very end. He said, "I want to give a shout out to all the heroes, all the truck drivers." So
Did he really?
I'm, yeah, yeah,
Hey,
did,
yeah.
that's cool, man.
I,
Yeah.
I'll
and
tell
police
you.
officers. He said police officers too.
Did he really? Wow, I didn't hear that. Well, I didn't see the
Firefighters,
fight.
police
Oh,
officers.
I didn't see the
Right?
fight. Yeah. He should have
Well,
said teacher. He would have covered all three of us.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I don't like him no more.
Yeah,
hey,
F Jake Paul,
well,
man.
hey, one day, Mikey, you'll know what it's like to be a Jake Paul's hero,
hero?
man. One day, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Cholo, before we leave, you know what? Talk
Yeah.
a little bit about the Colasso fight. You know what? That little Chaparrillo, that dude is good, man. I mean, he is. I mean, I was watching him. He cuts the ring. He's a fighter. He was fighting an undefeated fighter who had the belt for 8 years, had a pretty high percentage knockout. You know what? I like this little guy, Colasso, but he needs to stay at 105. I don't see him at 112, 115, but I like that kid. I call him a kid. He's a great little fighter, man.
He is. He's fun to watch, and the fact that though, I mean, it, guys that are like 118, 115 pounds, those guys have trouble gaining exposure. Now you're talking about a guy who's fighting at 105. Like,
105. Yeah.
so, I mean, if he can actually bring some eyeballs to that weight division, that would be incredible because nobody pays attention to that. Nobody pays attention to 108. Nobody really pays attention to 112. 115, only true hardcore boxing fans pay attention to 115, 118. So, but if he can start shining some light on 105, that'd be incredible. That'd be cool, man. That'd be incredible to
I'll tell
see.
you one thing. I'm going to start following him. I love the way that little Chaparro fights. You know what? He
Mm.
fights very good. Did you watch him, Mikey?
No, I didn't get a chance, but I know who
Oh,
Colosso is. He's coming up, Puerto Rican kid, right?
little Puerto Rican kid, man, and very
Yeah,
humble. If you get a chance, watch it on YouTube. You're not going to waste
yeah.
your time. This guy's I like him. He's an exciting
Okay.
fighter.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. Colosso,
man,
he's good.
hey, I'll do it, man. I
That's
would do
right.
it, Demetrio. I would, I would do it, man.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna get up out of here, man. You guys have a great weekend. Whatever you guys do this weekend, be safe doing this. We can come back and do it again. That is David Contreras, my boy Mike Zavala from Mikey TV, Cholo Trucker, Los Tres Chingones Boxing. Catch you guys on the next round.